Do you like mysteries? To wander through the enigmatic mist of the inexplicable? Great. I'm Merc, and here you'll find what you're looking for. Welcome to my domains. The truth dissolves into the mist.
The surface of Lake Michigan is a mirror, a vast and tranquil expanse of fresh water stretching towards the horizon. It holds the sunsets, the storms, and the silent passage of freighters. But beneath its familiar wind-rippled skin, a secret was sleeping, a geometric ghost resting in the perpetual dark. For over 9,000 years, it waited on the muddy bottom, until a modern eye, not of flesh, but of sound, stumbled upon its form. Our story begins not with a dramatic discovery, but with a routine survey. The year was 2007. A team led by underwater archaeologist Mark Hawley was mapping the lakebed near Grand Traverse Bay, using side-scan sonar. They were looking for shipwrecks, the ordinary ghosts of maritime history. What the sonar painted back was anything but ordinary. Emerging from the digital gloom were a series of stark, linear formations. These were not random piles of rock. They were arranged with an unsettling purpose. One predominant structure appeared to be a perfect alignment of stones, a long, straight mastodon tusk of a line, encircling it, like attendants to a silent rite, were other stones, forming a large, crude circle. The scale was immense. This was not a fisherman's forgotten anchor line. This was a pattern, a deliberate arrangement laid down by a mind, by hands, in an epoch before history, as we know it, even began. Consider the weight of that timeline. These stones were placed when the last glaciers were still retreating, when the very shape of the Great Lakes was still settling. The Egyptian pyramids would not rise for another 4,000 years. Stonehenge in England was a distant future. This continent was a land of mammoths and giant beavers, and the first whispers of human civilization were just echoes in its vast wilderness. Yet, here, in what is now the American Midwest, someone, or something, was moving great stones and setting them in order. The immediate question, the one that chills the spine, is obvious. Who built this? The common narrative tells us that sophisticated stonework, megalithic structures, belong to other continents, to deserts and green hills far away. Not here, not in the heart of North America. This discovery threatens to redraw the map of ancient human activity, suggesting a forgotten chapter, a culture with the knowledge, the need, and the sheer will to create a permanent monument in a landscape that was still raw and new. But the mystery deepens, far beyond a simple archaeological anomaly. For this structure is not on a hill, bathed in sunlight. It is submerged. It lies under 40 feet of fresh, cold water. This fact is the key that unlocks a door to a far more profound and far more unsettling set of possibilities. How did it get there? Science offers a primary explanation, one grounded in the slow, colossal movements of the earth itself. At the end of the last ice age, the land, compressed by unimaginable weights of ice, began to rebound. This phenomenon, called isostatic rebound, caused the Earth's crust to slowly rise. At the same time, global sea and lake levels were fluctuating. The complex interplay could have caused the water level in the Lake Michigan basin to rise over centuries, gradually swallowing the shoreline, and with it any structure that stood upon it. It is a logical, geological answer. But logic often stumbles in the face of the abyss. What if the water didn't slowly rise to meet the stones? What if the event that placed these stones there was not gradual, but catastrophic? Let your mind wander into that darker current. Ancient cultures across the globe speak in unison of a great deluge, a world-ending flood. the Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh, the biblical story of Noah, the flood myths of the Maya, and hundreds of indigenous tribes. We have dismissed them as allegory, as moral tales, stat. But what if they are fragmented memories, geological PTSD passed down through 10,000 generations? The submerged stone circle of Lake Michigan could be a physical marker of such an event, a grim proof that a great and sudden inundation did occur in the heart of this continent. Dear, it would mean this structure was not built underwater, but was drowned, its builders and their world wiped away in a cataclysm so immense it became legend. This is not just an archaeological site, it is a potential tombstone for a forgotten epoch. And then there is the arrangement itself, the long, straight line, the circle. To our modern eyes, trained by pop culture and fringe history, these shapes scream of purpose beyond the mundane. Archaeologists cautiously call it a hunting blind, a structure used to corral caribou for ancient hunters. It is a practical, survival-based explanation. But your intuition, that prickle on the back of your neck, asks another question. Why go to such monumental effort for a hunting blind when simpler methods existed? The alignment, look at it, a long straight line of stones, in countless other ancient sites. From Karnak in France to the Nazca lines in Peru, such alignments point to celestial events, solstices, equinoxes, the path of specific stars. What if, when this structure stood on dry land, that line pointed directly to the rising sun on the summer solstice, or tracked the moon's most extreme standstill? It would transform the site from a tool for hunting animals into a temple for hunting stars. A calendar carved in stone by people who watched the heavens with a precision we are only beginning to comprehend. That leads us to the most forbidden question of all, the one that lurks in the deepest, darkest water. If this is a celestial marker, a sophisticated astronomical tool who truly possessed such knowledge in North America nearly 10 millennia ago, the official history books are silent. They speak of nomadic Paleo-Indians, hunters and gatherers following game. They do not speak of architects, of astronomers. This dissonance is where the true mystery festers. It forces us to consider possibilities that have been relegated to the fringes, to whispered theories and suppressed archaeology. The concept of a lost pre-Columbian civilization, advanced in its understanding of the land and sky, has long been a heresy in mainstream academia. Sites like this are dangerous. They are anomalies that do not fit the narrative, and history has a cruel habit of silencing anomalies. Could this be evidence of that lost civilization, a culture that flourished and then vanished beneath the waves or into the dust, leaving only these cryptic stone sentinels as their epitaph? Some researchers, delving into alternative history, point to even more speculative connections. They note the similarity of the underwater formations to other megalithic sites across the Atlantic. The faint, controversial whispers of transoceanic contact in deep antiquity begin to sound a little less impossible. Or could the explanation be even older and more alien? The ancient astronaut theory, often mocked, asks a simple, provocative question. If this knowledge seems out of place, out of time, could it have come from elsewhere? The stones themselves offer no answer, only their silent, defiant geometry. The official response to this discovery has been, tellingly, quiet. After the initial flurry of news in 2007, the story sank almost as completely as the stones themselves. Funding for further, extensive exploration has been minimal. Detailed maps of the site are not publicly available. The location is often given in vague terms. This has fueled speculation among investigators that there is a desire to keep this mystery submerged, to not rock the boat of established human history. Is it simply a matter of limited resources and a difficult, expensive underwater environment? Or is there an unspoken reluctance to confront what this site might imply about our past? about the possibility that the story of humanity on this continent is far older, far stranger, and far less linear than we have been taught. This is where you, the observer, must step into the fog. The facts are these: a sonar image, a depth, an age. But the space between the facts is an ocean of shadow. We are left standing on the shore of Lake Michigan, looking out at the deceptively calm water. Beneath the surface lies a puzzle box from a time before memory. Is it the work of ingenious early hunters, a monument to survival? Is it a drowned temple, a relic of a global cataclysm remembered only in myth? Or is it a fingerprint, left by a hand we do not recognize, from a chapter of history that was deliberately erased, or simply forgotten by time? The waters of Lake Michigan guard their secret well. They are cold, dark, and deep. The stone circle does not speak, it only exists, a haunting question mark written on the lake bed. It challenges our arrogance, our belief that we know the full scope of the human journey. Every time a freighter passes overhead, its hull vibrating through the water, the stones feel the tremor. They have felt the weight of glaciers, the rise of floods, and now the hum of a civilization that builds with steel and silicon, yet cannot fully decipher the language of its own ancestors, written in simple, enduring stone. Perhaps some truths are meant to stay submerged, not because they are false, but because the world is not yet ready to face the profound, unsettling darkness they reveal about our origins. The circle remains closed, its meaning locked in the past, waiting for the day the water recedes, or our understanding finally deepens enough to reach it.
Did you like this mystery? And what is your theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, then like and share. I'm Merc, and I'll be waiting for you in the next mystery.